when you talk about vacationing with kids, this is the mom tradition, right? So it feels like all I want to do is get away. And then whenever you go on vacation with kids, I feel like there's the like not even halfway through, but you're like, and I can't wait to get home and get back to our routines because that was cool. We just dropped a ton of money. So I'm like, I'm excited to talk about like what works on vacation and what doesn't.
I think vacationing with anybody, but I think especially kids, you kind of have to have your mind right for what kind of like travel you're doing. Is this a vacation
100%.
or is this
Right.
a trip? Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I think when even like my husband and I are different vacationers. You know, I'm the get me by the beach, give me a Mai Tai, let me have my feet up R&R person.
Oh,
And he's like, ooh, how
yes.
many historical placards can I read?
Oh gosh. Okay.
So, but I think with kids too, like you have to have your mind right. Like, is this like we're going across America and are going to go to national parks and things of that sort? Or are we like doing water slides? I think that you
Right.
have to predefine that before you get out in it because and with your partner too, because if y'all aren't on the same page about
Yes.
what kind of trip it is, that's already a disaster.
Ooh,
And then
a
like
big
if the
time
kids
disaster.
don't know, like when we get to Charleston, we're gonna like go on this like horse-drawn to hear history. If they think it's all beaches, they might be a little disappointed. So
Oh
I
yeah.
think like
Yes.
defining that and kind of preparing your kids like in an excited way for whatever it is can be really helpful.
So vacations planned. Do you guys tell your kids about them ahead of time? Or like,
Yes.
because I don't.
I do. I don't tell my kid about play dates because those like easily fall through
Same.
and like, you know,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
I do tell her about trips probably about a week out or so because she likes to pack her own bags and, you know, and I do like to set the expectation for what it's going to be and like going to bed on time every night because we have this trip coming up. So I do tell her.
Right.
Do you,
Yeah.
Julian?
If we travel by plane, it's like standby travel. So it's kind of like, well, we think we're going, but you know, who knows? So, but they like Stella at least has kind of gotten used to that where she knows like our whole airport thing is like maybe we'll get on this flight, but maybe we won't, you know?
What a fun game.
Yeah.
That
So
sounds like a nightmare.
sometimes I tell them, or sometimes
Yeah.
it's crazy. Yeah, it's nuts. Sometimes I tell them, or sometimes we'll do like, we're gonna like it's a mystery trip or whatever. So 50-50.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
just curious because I know mine, just like the play dates, I'm like, if I say it too much in advance, there's just like so many questions and so many, and I'm not a planner. Like my natural state is not to be like, we got this whole vacation and each day's planned out and like, that's just not the trip I plan. So then when I tell the kids, it's like, well, I don't know, stop asking me so many questions.
Outline of each day. Like this is a history day. This is a beach day. I like to have an idea. Not that every hour is planned, but I do like to kind of get us headed in a direction and see what happens when we get there.
Yeah.
I'm the same. I mean, I like to plan, but I'm also okay if it doesn't like go to plan because with kids you can't, you know, there's especially kids in vacations. If you think you're going to stick to a plan, like you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
So
what would you say are the top 3 if we had to come up with a list of the top 3 challenges of traveling with kids? I do think sleep. I think sleep, like whether it be naps or like in the hotel, like they just get overtired. I'm like, but I don't have a solution to it because I'm like, if you're at Disney World, like you're not going home to nap.
You're definitely
not. Sorry, like you're pushing through anything. It's kind of like, you know, it's vacation time.
Yeah.
God, the 3 hardest things.
Just like the mom, like what's the thing that you're like, mother effer?
Well, okay. I have a couple of like things for Disney specifically or theme parks. So one thing that I think is really hard about taking children to theme parks and that being your vacation, because yes, they're going to be tired. You're pushing through naps. They are overstimulated and very excited. And the beauty in being a parent at that moment is getting to see all this through your kids' eyes, right? So it's like we're all like
Yes.
living on this high. But one thing
Yeah.
that I think is really important for theme parks is planning for the lines. Like, I think that especially for kids that are like, 4, 5, 6 years old, like I feel like planning to be in the line is really critical. So one thing that I've done in the past is I pack a backpack and I have little games and activities ready in the backpack before we get in a line. So like maybe 20 minutes into a line, I'm like, ooh, what do we have here? Oh, this is going to be a guess which flavor fruit snack this is. And so like everybody close your eyes and I'm going to pop this fruit snack in and like guess the flavors. Or it can be really simple stuff, but just things to pass the time so they're not absolutely miserable in the lines.
Yeah.
And then one thing I did at Disney, a lot of people do the princess dress up thing for if you have girls.
Oh, bibbidi boppity.
Yeah.
Boutique.
We didn't do that because I think we couldn't get an appointment like at the right time that worked for us. But what I did instead was I ordered off Amazon costumes for my niece and my daughter. And so when we were in a line for a princess related thing, I was like, you know what, guys, I think I have a surprise. And I like whipped them out and they were like, oh my God. And they like got dressed in the
and then they got
dressed in the line. They had their wands and it was like
that's amazing.
Just nobody thought about the fact that we were in that line for 60 minutes. So I think that's one thing that's really hard about, traveling with kids and doing that specific vacation style. But I think that there's ways to combat it if you just do a little bit of planning. Like I didn't even do it. We went to Disney for like 2 days and I didn't do a ton of planning, but I did have like a backpack of little Mary Poppins tricks.
Fun, like the Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
So
I would definitely think
That's
about
great.
that.
It's great advice.
Yeah.
I'm trying
big
to think.
I always bring I love little like gift bags. Like I just love like making gift bags. So I always bring them for like the girls, like when we get to the hotel or wherever.
That's
like
so
and usually
cute.
I'll do like new pajamas too, like matching pajamas, and then just kind of little cute stuff. Usually like I'll do like coloring book or something you know what I mean? Like stuff that they can also do in the room.
Yeah.
So just stuff like, I don't know, to also like make it a little bit special. But that's also just like if there was a job to like make gift bags, that would be
There's a business opportunity.
I know. God, every time we're here, the friggin' business
I do think that's a
opportunities.
thing. I think like Etsy, because people buy like pre-made goodie bags and stuff.
Oh,
like
God,
I've been that mom before that's like, just sell it as a package. I'm not making it myself.
I love it. Yeah. And I found something that makes it easier for car trips is snack bags is what I've done the past couple. I'll get like the gallon size bag and just put whatever they're getting for the ride in there. In the beginning of the ride, here you go. Eat it all now.
Well, we already talked about what an unhealthy mom you are with the snacks. So there's definitely not
filled with
goldfish and not grapes is what I picked up on.
That's it. But I don't know. I just find that it's easy. They have the same snacks. And it's kind of like eat at your leisure, but like when you're done with those snacks, you're done with those snacks.
We're 4 hours into the trip and like you ate your gallon of food. And there's no more coming for you until, hour 5 or whatever it is.
And like I plan it enough so it's like if you eat all these snacks, like you know what I mean? Like, then we have a problem. We're gonna have the like diarrhea stuff.
Okay, fair enough.
Buc-ee's, But I just found that, I don't know, to also give them some control.
I would say also don't forget to like lean into the stuff that's there. So like I was the one that made the mistake that I'm like, listen, we're going to Disney. We're going to walk 17 miles. So wear your tennis shoes, which my kids live in Crocs.
Yeah.
And they like weren't used to wearing like tight tennis shoes all day. And it's just funny because the next day I let them wear Crocs and they never complain once about their feet. So I'm like, also as like a tip, it's like you want them to wear cute outfits and like matching or shoes or whatever, but let them pick their favorite comfort items when you really are doing one of those endurance-based vacations. Because don't try on new shoes. And even like shorts, you know, they can rub. I know they rub on my chub rub.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Or just,
But
you don't want them being uncomfortable.
Yeah. And like, don't put the bathing suit in the morning, carry it in the book bag. Like there's things that you're just like, you have to act like your kid's about to like run a marathon and you're like, just like whatever your favorite, most comfortable things.
Well, have you heard that thing, which is like so true about like why when I'm like packing, do I like pack like I'm planning to like poop my pants? Like, because what's it like with the underwear? You know what I mean? Like it just is like I'm just like piling it in there. You know?
Okay,
like,
I know why I pack like that though. My grandma taught me to. Like my grandma was like, "You need more panties than that," like all the time.
You need the extra undies.
And so now I've already taught Justice that. So she has like 10 pair of panties. We're going somewhere for 2 nights.
Yes.
I will say though, on summer vacations, like you do go through them because like my kids won't put on. Like, you know how like as an adult, you're like, turn that shirt inside out. Like there's just a little bit of lot. Or like PJs. You took a bath, you put them on. They're still clean. Like when I'm packing, I'm like, I'm a minimalist. But like when you wake up in the morning, you know, like they get dressed, that's new underwear. And then you go to the pool and they come back and they change and it's new underwear.
That's new underwear.
And then they take a bath. So I'm like, in a weird way, I'm like, I actually do think it starts in our childhood, but you do use a ton of underwear as a kid. And then as an adult, you're like, no, what?
But you know what? Just to name this though, I have like gone on a business trip and my flight got canceled wherever I was and I had to stay over. And it's like, well, I can put this sweater back on, but you know what I can't? These panties, okay? I'm gonna need new panties. So I think start it in your childhood and take it forever with you.
There we go. Number one tip. If you aren't already doing it,
Pack extra panties.
Oh my gosh. I've been like, I feel like, are you guys cruise people?
I really want to do a cruise.
Okay. They keep like popping up. So I went on like a YouTube, like I'm really into watching cruise videos. But also like have no interest in going on a cruise.
Wait,
so it's a little bit of a disconnect.
How are you why are you watching the cruise videos?
I don't know.
What is a cruise video?
Well, like I don't know.
Is it like a reviewer
who
like, went on a cruise and you watch their experience?
Kinda. It's like this guy, he does like Disney videos. Again, like I want to talk about Disney, but I also have I'm not going to Disney and I'm not going on a cruise, but this guy's videos.
But now you're going on a Disney cruise because you saw this guy.
I mean, I don't know. Something about like I think like seeing all the food and seeing like the like
food,
the rooms,
get you every time.
But then in my life, my actual life, I've had people like so many people go on cruises. Especially with kids, and I was kind of like, dang. And I feel like once you go, you like keep going. Do you know what I mean?
I can speak to like maybe 2 cruises as a kid. And I'm like, I should ask my parents what they thought. Cause I'm like, in my memory of like maybe like a 10-year-old memory, I'm like, the best thing ever. Like I was up in a nightclub, water slides during the day, nightclub at night. Like, and I'm telling you, they have like, it was cool. And like, I don't know. We grew up modest, but I'm like, we did little trips to like the beach and this. So maybe it was just
that
the
was
cruise
the
was like the cool.
That was the thing.
Like it was cool.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. So I've heard like the kids club where you can like
leave them,
basically just like leave them. And they're like you said, going to nightclubs, like who knows what else, you know? So that's like an interesting thing.
So a friend of mine, well, ours, Lindsay, she went on a cruise with her 2 kids, husband, and mother, like, I don't know, maybe 6 years ago, 5 years ago. I guess her oldest is 6. So, like soon as she had kids. And now they do it, like, every 2 years. And her mom goes and kind of, like, supervises the children, drops them off at the little kids club area. And she swears by it. Like, I think it's the only way they vacation now is they just do these cruises.
Well, that's what I've heard, that like you just once people start, you like
once you pop the fun don't stop.
You're a cruiser. Yeah.
And I like when you think about it economically, it I don't know about the Disney cruises. I mean, I would love to go on a Disney cruise, but they seem very expensive. But just like even like a
Right.
Carnival cruise for like a family of 4 seems like it could be rather affordable if you're close enough to a port, like it, and you do the math
Right.
on the meals and stuff, it seems like it really shakes out to a good deal. My husband always, like the times we've been on cruises, he always talks about this memory of his dad having an ice cream cone every single time he saw him on the cruise. Because they have like the unlimited, and he's like
the
soft serve.
Just like
he said like every
swirling
cruise, his dad just like always was walking around with an ice cream cone, which is funny because my father-in-law has like an insatiable sweet tooth.
Well,
like, it's
also,
a tradition.
Vernita, thanks for helping us understand why Julianne is so interested in cruises.
It's ice cream.
Just
double
like,
fisting it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Wow.
So one of the, I guess a mom acquaintance of mine, she's like a very busy work lady.
Yeah.
So she said they will never buy like the Wi-Fi package. So it's like the only cruise, or a cruise is the only time she feels like she can totally disconnect. Because she's like, otherwise, like, I can't help myself. Like the way I am, I'm going to check emails, or I'll make a phone call, or I'll be doing this or that. So she said going on a cruise is the only way she can guarantee, like, I'm not checking emails, I'm not making phone calls, I am cruising.
I love that.
So I have a coworker that also says that. So I didn't know if there was a Wi-Fi package, but she's always like, it's just, she does it like teacher. She does it at the end of the school year. And she's like, I just feel like it really helps me like totally disconnect and like fresh start kind of to her summer.
Yeah.
And then she also talks like, we're teachers. So we're like baseline poor. And she talks about how like, I've been to like 25 countries, and it's like, for like 2 hours each, but
right.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like,
still get around a little bit. Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
I don't know. So I wonder, have you gone on any vacations with the twins?
No, I'm like a little bit terrified. So this is something that I've been thinking about a lot, actually. We used to have an au pair who has become absolute family to us. We talk to her every week. She can't wait to see the twins, but she lives in Colombia, South America. And so I'm like I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do, because well, here's the thing. They fly free. There's a world where we could take an international trip with the twins.
Yeah.
And I think it could be amazing, because like, why limit yourself? Do it. They fly free. But then I'm like, yo, these two are off the chain. Like day in and day out, they run amok up in here. And I'm just like trying to imagine them in an airplane.
Or on an airplane like that. How long is that flight?
Yeah, because you've got to like either go. So it's like it's a big trip. It's not a 2-hour flight. I am thinking about doing pretty soon is taking them down to Tampa to like meet family there who hasn't come up here yet. It's literally like a 2-hour flight or less. So I think I'm gonna do that, and like
a perfect practice,
as like a warm up, and see how it goes.
To know you have family there, like you have and you're comfortable, you know what I mean? You're like, I've done this flight, I know these airports, like I know,
So I'm like excited about it, and one of the things I've enjoyed so much about being a mom is being able to have these experiences with my kid, and like to fly for the first time with Justice, even though she was only 8 months old. I could see the wonder in her eyes as she like looked out the side of the plane, and I look forward to that with them. But it's really hard with two. Like everything is just harder, because as you're trying to enjoy this one kid, you're like, oh my God, look at you. The other one's like, and you're like, oh wait, hold on. Keep that wonder.
Wait.
I gotta go over here. And so that I feel myself very stretched in that way right now. And then I have the big one who has like look at me syndrome. And so I have these two running in opposite directions, or like just swatting at each other. And then I have Justice who's doing a cartwheel, and she's like, look at me. And I'm like, I don't have 6 eyes. I can't look at all of you.
Yes.
So that, I just don't know about how travel is going to go. I'm definitely going to take somebody
Sounds
with me. I can't like do this trip
that
I was gonna
alone.
say, yeah, and
yeah.
well, I think you would have to
Yeah.
because for lap children, I don't think they'd be like,
True.
you can put them both
That's
on
true.
there, like, yeah, like,
Well, and you said bring a
how many
person.
can I fit on this lap? Like,
Yeah.
like have all
Very
these
true.
babies come in, like,
Yes.
yeah.
But even you
Um,
said bring a person. I'm like, oh great. So your sister and your husband will be
Yes.
there.
yeah,
And then like because
yeah,
the first flight is gonna be a
Intense.
doozy. And probably for a while. But also it is like that's motherhood too, where I'm like, it's so hard, but so worth it. And then knowing you're riding the wave where you're like, oh my gosh, they were so great for like 30 minutes, or they were so great for landing, or so like there's
yeah.
always a bright spot. And then there's always where you're like sweating and you're like, oh God, I'm going to have a
The
panic
airplane
attack because they're
sweats.
freaking out,
Yes.
or like,
Yeah.
Well,
I
and
don't know.
that's the thing too. So my kids, y'all, their cries are very distinctive and very loud. Like Ocean has a roar in her belly like that you don't even believe came out of that child. And then
Okay.
Seven has a shriek that is so high pitched
Oh, the
that
shrieks.
I put like cotton balls in my ear sometimes because I can't, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah.
It's a lot.
So I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
also am so terrified to think about being that person on a plane with a roaring and
Yeah,
a shrieking baby and everyone looking at
yeah.
me being like, why did you bring
Screw them
Man,
though.
screw them,
Screw them.
screw
Like,
them.
screw them. It's like, if that's what they're thinking, like, seriously, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because for the most part, I feel like everyone's been there. Even if it's annoying, like, you can
Yeah.
emphasize with, like, or empathize with, like, you're the one that's feeling the worst out
Yes.
of everyone. You know what
Yes.
I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like, if someone's going to be, like, crappy or whatever. I mean, and everyone
Yeah.
has headphones
Now
now.
that's
Like,
true.
push that noise canceling button and like leave my babies
That is
alone.
very
Like they're
true.
going
Yeah.
through something.
You're
I
going
don't know.
through
I just
something.
have
Also,
I don't
and
have any like patience for that. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
That is
I don't know.
very
Yeah.
true.
And then also
Yeah.
like how I just feel like generally like there is moments, like I'm not discrediting how bad it can be, but I'm like planes are usually like pretty good in my experience. Like for all the planes that the three of us have been on with our own kids or anyone else, I'm like, it's not often that there's a kid crying for such a length of time that like anyone cares. Like
Yeah.
I have not been on because I'm like, it's the
Yeah.
white
Yeah.
noise and it's the like snacks the whole time. And it's like, I
Yeah.
think it's more of the length of the day. Like when you
Mm.
finally get to the airplane, like, and I'm like, the advice in the airport is like stroller.
Oh
Like
my
as
gosh,
my kid was like a
yes.
3-year-old.
So that's what I was thinking of. So this last trip we took with Willow, it was like kind of a relief of not having to bring so much stuff,
Mm.
like she's not
Yes.
in a packing play anymore. We didn't even bring the stroller, which I am a stroller person where I'm like, even when my kids are grown, I'm going to have a stroller because I can put my drink in the cup holder.
Yes.
Like I can put my stuff in there. It's just nice.
Yes, I
You're
agree.
going to have a purse stroller.
Yeah, but even like diapers, like we didn't have to bring diapers anymore. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's just
Yes.
it really car seat. Like we we got this inflatable like booster seat,
Mm.
Cool.
which was like pretty cool. So it's just I feel like as they get like with 1-year-olds, you're in it.
Yes,
You
so many
need
things.
so many things, and even clothes
Yes.
were like they're still like a mess. I mean,
Yes.
not to
Yeah.
say. I mean, at my age, I still am like, I'm probably packing another shirt, just in case of,
I
who
get my
knows?
get
Yeah.
butter on this one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so the amount of stuff that you have to bring when they're infants and babies, I mean,
Yeah.
it does significantly decrease. But I also think now that I have 3 kids, like when I look back, I'm like, you know what? We probably could have got away with less stuff traveling with Justice. I just think with your first, you just
Totally.
go all in. But like,
Yes, you do.
Yes. Oh,
even thinking about packing places, like, well, if you're going to a hotel, you can call ahead and get the infant bed rolled in there. Like, you don't have to have that figured out
yes.
for yourself. Or
Yeah.
they even have like much smaller travel pack and plays than the one that I used to tote with us. Like I toted this giant heavy thing. And it's like
That
they
was
got
me.
like
Full
Yeah.
way
size.
smaller
Yeah.
ones. And then
But I gotta say, when we're talking about vacation, also I'm like, take that Big Mac Daddy pack and play because they sleep. So like I carry like a big cushion and all this stuff. Like it kind of fit into the case, but I'm like,
Oh, me too. I
Don't
had a
don't take
mattress pad
anything.
for it. I had
Yeah.
like a comfy sheet. Like,
Because imagine if you roll into the
And they don't
hotel
have
and they're
it.
like, here's our pack and play. And it's like a concrete, like piece of plywood. I'm like, no, the one thing I am taking is that
No,
pack
that's
and
true.
play that
That
I
pack and
know
play.
that
Yeah.
they're going to sleep sound.
Very true. I think just thinking
Yeah.
about truly what you need, you know,
Yeah.
Yes.
what you
Yeah.
need.
Yeah.
Like my in-laws, they have gosh, how old is he now? He's nearly 6 months old. And they've been here probably 3 times since he's been an infant. And they like show up with nothing. Like I feel like nothing. Like they have
Yeah.
the car seat that turns into the stroller, which I think is so clutch.
Oh,
And that's like
yes.
the most they bring. But everything else they're like, oh, he could sleep in the bed with us. You're like, they just
Oh
like,
gosh. Okay.
they just make it work. And I'm always so amazed at how minimal they are. Like they don't even check a bag.
It's amazing.
They have
That's
a
awesome.
Oh my
5-year-old
gosh.
and an infant, and they don't even check bags. They just like roll through. They're like, we got it. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's the other thing. I think it's from childhood that like even if we're going to like Greenville, I still pack that like I can't get stuff there. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I
This
and
is not me. This is Kevin.
Oh,
Kevin,
okay.
my husband,
Yeah.
was
He's a doomsday prepper.
boat captain.
Yeah.
Doomsday prepper, and
Yeah.
spent like hundreds of days in a row on the ocean, like had to like, he was the captain. So if something went wrong, and I'm like, this was a major sticking point where we would go somewhere and it was like the things he was bringing, like a flare gun. I mean, we're going to like, and then like,
Yeah.
you know, pocket knife and first aid kit and all. Now
Yeah,
some of these
yeah.
were like camping trips. So I'm like, I guess whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, now our joke is like, he still says it all these years later. He'll be like, well, a wise woman once told me there's probably a Walmart, because he was
Yeah.
packing like the end of the world. I'm like, we can't bring our house. So it's funny because in comparison to that, I'm like, no, I'm the minimalist that will show up
Okay.
with a book bag and be like, we'll
Yeah,
figure
you
it
You've
out.
always
You
been
are
like that,
pretty
though.
like yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
just
I
like
just
being in
can't.
college with you and having to go somewhere and being like, that's all you brought was your wallet?
Yeah.
You're
Like-
lucky I even brought that. I didn't even take
Yeah,
that.
you
let's be
literally-
real here. She wasn't bringing her
Yeah,
wallet.
she did it. It wasn't even her wallet. It was her student ID. She would
It was a
There
she
we
would
go.
like
fake
have
ID.
her student
Yeah.
ID like in
Yeah.
her bra and be like, I'm ready to go. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's it, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I still think I should
man.
call my bank and be like, how many debit cards were replaced
my
between
gosh.
the years of
2004.
Just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just curious, was it 45 or
Yeah.
97?
Oh my gosh, I know all the time.
I'm still pretty bad
Yeah.
about like purses and just like, yeah, I still just stick things like in my waistband and I'm like, call it a day. Sports bra, definitely.
gosh.
I
still.
love that you're
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
well, I mean, you're all on your health tip now, so you like don't have as many rolls,
Yeah.
but that was not safe
That's
to
right.
do with rolls.
I just tucked it right in there.
Yeah.
Get right up under that love handle.
Oh, gosh. So what
Oh,
what
gosh.
would y'all say? Okay, because we've all been in the mom game like at least 6-7 years. What's been the most fun trip you've had with your kids?
So I have to do a plug for
Yeah.
camping, which I
Okay.
know it's like not for everyone. And so there's not any one trip. I could pick a few based on different things, but I'm like, I highly encourage everyone to go camping with kids. And so when I was younger, I've like backpacked the Appalachian Trail for, you know, a week or two at a time. So like rugged camping, you don't know where you're going to sleep. So to say like that I feel like a sellout is an understatement, but I'm like, so then as a mom, I'm like, I think we spent one night in a tent and I literally left the tent at the campground. Like I was like, my dog was up. The baby was like having a dance party at midnight. You just like the tent sleeping was a no-go. I think it had gotten ripped or something, like, you know, whatever.
You just left it.
Like crumpled
sped
it up
away,
and like
like,
scooted
yeah.
it towards the dumpster and was like, we're done with camping forever.
Yeah.
So I have to say, like, this might not be for everyone, but we did try it again. And then like there's cabins, there's actual like renting a camper, like a little pop-up camper or an RV. But these places now that are like what I would have prior called super cheesy, like the local one for us is Frontier Town and it's all like Western themed. But I'm like, you show up to a campground with your kids. There's 4 different playgrounds. There's 2 different
Yeah.
pools. One of them has water parks. And then the camp people treat it like summer camp. So when you get there, because you're like a weekend camper, when you get there, they give you this agenda, and it's like tie-dye shirts at 1:00,
Really?
painting trees at 3. And like if you go during October, there's trick-or-treating where everyone gets dressed up. Even if it's October 1st, everyone gets dressed up, and there's a parade at like 3:00, and all the little kids go down the road, and they like I'm just telling you that there's
That's
like this
adorable.
new kind of camping that's like so cheesy. And all those places have cabins. So like rent you a little cabin if you don't want to do the tent or the RV, and it's air conditioning or heated, but you still have the fire, camp, s'mores.
We did that with you guys in Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
We rented like a camper, but it was there. We didn't have to do anything.
Did your kids like that trip?
Yeah, well, Willow wasn't born yet. It was just Stella. Yeah, I think I was pregnant with Willow, but it was great. It was like really, and I'm not a camper, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And it's so different than, and it's kind of what we talked about at the start. Like you do have to gear up for like, it's not a vacation. It's weird though, because it's also a lot of sitting around. Like I will say you're not sitting on like a pretty beach, but I'm like, it is a lot of like staying in your campsite, and you're like cooking hot dogs. It's simple. And now that my kid's older, like we play cards, we play Uno. So I'm like, it actually is pretty chill if you're just killing time. Now we always mix ours in with like local attractions. So like we're going out most of the time,
camping.
But when you are in the campground, I'm like 2 thumbs up, highly recommend. I think it also gives kids, this is a weird thing to say, but I'm like, I think it's a cool opportunity for kids to go play with strangers. It's like, because when you get to the campgrounds, like everyone's doing the same thing. It's pretty enclosed. Like, and so they're going to these playgrounds where they don't know anyone, but they're all friends immediately, you know? And like, there's been other kids that I'm also like, let's go check out the other playground. Cause there's like
it's too much
WT dropping customers and they're 5 years old. And I'm like, well, we're going to go check out the other thing.
Yes.
So you still have to keep an eye on them, but I'm like, it's a cool thing where they can kind of like, you know, practice their independence, and it removes all the like no technology, no friends.
I do like that aspect of like just being out in nature and not in like practicing being bored. Because I think camping to me is basically like all the hard stuff that you do at your house, but you now doing it outside and you got to build a fire to do it. And so it's like not that appealing to me from that regard, but from the place of like, oh, we're out and we're seeing a stream, or we just like taking in the fresh air and we don't have TV. Like, I think that is really beneficial. So I could be convinced to do this at some point.
Yeah.
And take the bikes, like, or scooters. Like, I'm like, you're right. It's like everything you kind of do at home, but on steroids.
Yeah.
And I really do, I think so. Like, I have a personal philosophy of parenting that I'm like, and this is kind of what was passed down to me from my parents, but like when things go really wrong in my life, like this has always been a thing, is I'm like, I find it really like recentering to go back to nature. And so what that might look like is like surfing or skiing, which is like, it's not super nature, camping, taking a hike. Like it's
being
very,
outside.
just, and I don't know if it's like, I grew up with a dog and I would take the dog on long walks, or like, I don't know where it comes from, but I'm like, I feel like part of my parenting job is to like create a relationship with nature and like, so I, like when I'm driving in the car, I'm always like, look at the beautiful sunrise. Look at the beautiful, like I try to point out, what does that cloud look like? And I'm like, I'm always just trying to connect them to nature, because as we know, the whole world is going to go mad and has already gone mad. But when they get to a certain age where they're like, boyfriend broke up with them, or they need to like put down the Snapchat because it's like making them feel funky, or they've just binge watched a show for 3 days and they're my age, I'm like, they got to learn how to be like, let me go camping for the weekend.
Go outside.
I think, and I really, camping does it because it's filled with fun and adventure, but like nature.
No, I love
that's cool.
that.
That's great.
Like building it into their strategic emotional resilience as a tool.
Yeah, that sounded fancy.
Well, it's because I do therapy. I needed a lot of therapy. You know, when people throw out stuff like that, like boom, they've been sitting on somebody's couch. But I think that because it's just that's just a tool that they're now gonna have, and I do love that.
Yeah,
I think that's really special.
Yeah, I love that too.
So camping's your favorite vacation
Camping's
that
like
you've done with
there's
kids?
some really pure, solid memories from every camping trip. Now we have a camper, so like
That's your
we started in
go-to.
that tent that I abandoned immediately, and we've done a few cabins. But now we are full blown campers. Like we have our own setup. So, and then that is where I'm like, and it's the best because
But it's almost like
all
a home for you. You know what I
yes,
mean? Like again, you're at least have the comforts, but then I feel like it makes like the comforts of you're comfortable. So I feel like you set the tone of like you're like, I know what I'm doing
Yeah.
here. I'm comfortable.
yes.
So like we're all
Yeah.
comfortable. You know what
And
I
I'm
mean?
telling you,
Yeah.
if you're like a person that loves camping and you're on the fence, I'm like, it is such a game changer to get your own setup because everything that we've complained about of like, you have to pack all this stuff or you don't know what to take or not take. I'm
You
like,
know
oh my
now.
God, you just have a
Yes.
home away from home. And yes, spot on. Because that
Yeah.
was so you guys just reminded me that it was a major, like when Kevin and I met and we started dating, a lot of our relationship bonding was like over
Yeah.
activities. Like, we
Right.
would snowboard. We just had all these activities and we would just get off work and go up to the mountain and just sleep in the car for a night and then like ski again the next day. So then when we had kids, it was a struggle. Like in my identity, we can do like full episodes on this, but I'm like, I felt like my kind of like whole personality like had to go away. So all my like
Because you
adventure,
couldn't do the
spontaneous.
activities as
Yeah.
easily
And
or
then we
yeah.
would
Especially as a
try.
first time
Mhm.
parent, I
Yeah.
feel like, yeah.
And then we would try to force a trip because we'd be like, okay, we got to get out of the house. And it was just so miserable because you have to bring all this stuff. The baby doesn't like it just, and I remember those first few one being like, this is
Not fun.
god awful. And then I'm like, I don't even want to leave the house anymore because now it's just too much work and it's not fun anyway.
I'm in
Anyway,
that
long
stage
story
right
short
now,
is
by the
like,
way.
yeah. And then we got that camper and I feel like it saved our marriage. And we've made that joke to each other before of like, it saved us from like hating each other and being like, we're stuck just staring at each other to like, oh, this feels like our old life again. Plus our cute child can come with us without like feeling like a burden, which is so weird. But so that was just my niche of that's how we figured out how to vacation was like a home away from home in our camper.
And I mean, you make that initial investment and everything, but it probably just feels like it pays off over time where you're not booking Airbnbs and hotels.
And the spontaneous, like again, back to like, I'm not a planner. So in a funny way, I'm like, yeah, there's no
Right
nothing.
here, like let's go.
Yeah.
It's
And
easy.
you finance it.
Yeah.
We financed it. So I'm like, it's like very cheap per month. And then exactly like you said, I'm like, it's one hotel room, but you use it. I mean, there was times, especially during COVID, I'm like, we camped so much because everything was closed, but we could go anywhere we wanted in the camper. And it was like, and then you didn't have to stop. Like when you travel, you don't have to stop at public bathrooms. Like you just walk back into your own
That's nice.
camper. And like ours was a tow behind. It's called a travel trailer. But you just, it's like, oh God, it was great. So any parents that are drowning in the realities of motherhood, I'm like, get you a camper.
Go camping. Yeah.
We're not sponsored by Winnebago, but if you guys want to jump in on this.
Yeah. Yeah. Or Camping World,
Camping
right?
World.
Is that
Anybody.
Camping World? Yeah.
Yeah. How about you guys? What's been like a top memory or just highly recommend vacation?
I have one.
Okay.
This was a couple of years ago now. We went to Vegas, which everybody was like, you're taking a 40-year-old to Vegas? But it was so much fun. Like, we flew out there. We found one of those, inexpensive flights. And we probably stayed for maybe 5 days. And again, this is when we had our au pair with us. But it was a great experience for her because that was, part of that experience is seeing places in the US. So
of course. And what a place to see,
know.
right? Like,
But it
oh
was
my
like
gosh,
how
through
we
her
do
eyes.
Vegas
Yeah.
family style. So we went to
Okay.
Vegas. We went to we stayed at a family resort in Vegas. So it was like behind the strip.
Oh, I was like, I didn't even know such things
Yes, it was a
existed.
family resort. So we
Yeah.
had basically like a condo in
Okay.
instead of just a regular hotel room, we kind of had this condo with a little
Right.
kitchen and things of that sort. And it was very nice. And like it had multiple pools and hot tubs. And Justice
Nice.
loves hot tubs. Like
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is that girl's thing. She acts so bougie when there's a hot tub involved. So, like,
Yes,
Justice
yes,
was like,
that's
I'm,
me. That's like, yeah, you're just like, oh yeah, I
yes.
don't know what's
And I'm
happening
like,
to me, but like, it's
I don't know
good.
if you're supposed
Like,
to be in here, but okay. But she
yeah,
loves the hot
yeah,
tub.
yeah.
So every time she got a chance, she's like, can we go down to the hot tub and relax? I'm like, okay. So we did a lot of relaxing in the hot tub. We took a motor coach one day to the Grand Canyon and we like toured the Grand
Oh,
Canyon. We
that's
did
cool.
Hoover Dam,
Oh
and that
yeah,
was, I mean, it was just like family fun. Like it was so cool
Yeah.
for her to be able to see both of those things, and all of us. Like I had been to the Grand Canyon before, but
yeah.
nobody else had. So it was just like we're seeing this like wonder. We did. There's this one casino that oddly has like a kiddie vibe. So there's like kind of like an arcade and there's clowns and it's very strange,
Okay,
but we went there. Um
okay,
and I think the bottom line of it all was the place that we stayed. Like the activity, you can do different stuff whether you're in Vegas, Missouri, wherever, but
wherever.
I
Yeah,
think the finding that family resort for us was game changing because there were kids at the pool, and that's something that she could do all the time. Like even when we weren't like touring or doing whatever, it was like we're back to the hotel, we're enjoying our space, and that was just like
right.
really nice. It was just really relaxing. And then, having someone with us, Justin and I were actually able to like go to concerts and different things. Like we could go out
Oh,
at
that's
night.
nice. Yeah, so you had a little bit of a
Yeah, so it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
really
That's
fun
awesome.
because we had this great family time in the day, but then we also had things that me and him could just do at night. And
It's
yeah,
perfect.
it was a really, really fun trip. I think that has
Yeah.
been one of our best yet. And like Disney, for example, was like, well, this is just like all kids all the time. And that's great. But
Mhm.
Vegas, I felt like
Mhm.
gave us a really nice balance as a family.
I think that
That's
is like
awesome.
another thing for like vacationing. It is nice to have like the balance of like, yes, it's all about the kids, but also like I'm paying for this, so like let me like get something here,
What do I
Like
get out of
we get any
this?
margaritas
Yeah.
around here or like what's the deal,
Yes.
Um yeah. I love vacationing, so I couldn't really pick a um
Pick one.
single place we've gone, yeah. I feel like where we live, by Charlotte, so we've done a lot of like stuff that's within 4 hours,
Mm,
whether it's like we've gone to Gatlinburg a few times, Asheville, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, Greenville. Like we went to Greenville over the girls' like fall break, and like
I
Greenville is
love
amazing. I
Greenville.
don't have you. Yeah, we had an amazing time. We like went to the zoo, we went to the science center, but then we also went to this like outdoor like food hall. Like it was just we did a little bit of everything. And again, I think that's what makes it like it was all family all the time, but then you can recharge with like, okay, we get to go in this food hall where you guys are running around on the stage having so fun, but we're drinking margaritas and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
enjoying, the
Each other's
nighttime.
company and
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, getting to talk
Um,
for a little bit about
Yes,
kids.
so
Yeah.
that was really good. And like for the hotel room there, I think we stayed at a Holiday Inn, but it was like the bedroom and then they stayed in like the pull-out couch, like so it was
Yeah.
separate. So that too just added like they thought it was amazing that a couch
Turn
could
to a
like turn
bed.
into a bed,
Yes.
like,
Yes. Mine are the same way. Like,
yeah, I'm
I
like,
want to sleep
oh
on
my
that cool
gosh.
cot. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
okay. So they love that and like they love like sleep, to be able to sleep together, like it was like a sleepover for them. And then like we had, the bedroom. So it was like just nice to have a little bit of separation,
Yeah.
Julian.
I feel like this is where I should tell the story though,
Oh,
that I'm like, remember that I told you guys about the hotel that we've
yes.
nicknamed Shit Rock? And I'm like, I only say this to be like, my kids, I went on a trip that like false advertising, the place was in shambles. I felt like I was in a haunted house or like the what's the Shining movie in the hotel? Like I'm like, this
Oh
place was
yeah,
awful.
yeah, yeah.
And I wanted to leave immediately, like didn't even want to stay the night. But then you're like, you got these kids. We've just driven 4 hours. Anyway, long story short is so my husband and I like gritting our teeth are just like, we're trapped. There's nowhere else around. Like it's New Year's Eve. So there's just like everything else is booked up. So anyway, we stick it out and we make the most of it. And like everything was broken. Everything was disgusting. Like I'm not picky and it was bad. But what is such a like lesson to all parents is I'm like, guess who had no idea? They loved it. Literally just the other day, my kids were like, when are we going back? And I was like, I think we'll try a new place. And
that place closed.
Like health department shut them down. But I do like kind of feel like I want to just chime in and be like, parents, moms, just remember that I'm like, man, we're the critical ones of the memories. We put the pressure on ourselves. We made the plans. We have the high expectations that can be disappointed. But I'm like, these kids, you give them a hot tub or a pull-out couch or
it's
like a green space to run around on, and they're just like, this is the best vacation fun. Ever. Or like free cookies.
For
you ever been to a place that puts like the cookies out in the lobby and the kids are just like, oh my God, they give cookies away. I'm like, oh yeah, great. Disney, no memories from that, but you remember the cookies from the lobby
forever.
Great.
Yeah.
So
Juliet, I feel like you're the only one of us who has traveled internationally with children though. So any highlights from that or tips and tricks?
Well, I feel like it's just Costa Rica that we go to, and we've gone to enough times that it's easy, I guess. And I think just like don't have expectations and you really have to like, lean in. So the first time we went, and again, we were meeting my in-laws there. And I think, they had a certain way they like to vacation. And then we're coming in. That was our first big trip. We just had Stella. And she was 1. And so again, I come with like 5 suitcases, the pack and play, the stroller, the car seat, the like Boomba seat, the
hormones overflowing,
diapers, enough diapers for 4 years, just everything. And, I just, that was a difficult like vacation because realizing like, well, you can't stay on your schedule. You know what I mean? Like you kind of have to go with the flow a little bit. And I've gotten better as I've gotten older and I think gotten more comfortable with like being a mom and going places. But I think you just have to like go with the flow, and do
that expectation of like grandparents, like in-laws or whatever. I'm like, that can be a really tricky, that's a common theme I hear from friends where it's like, you should probably chat about that too. Like, if you're going on vacation with them, are they excited to spend time with the grandkids or are they going on their own vacation?
Right. And especially with young kids where they're like, well, we like to like shower and have a cocktail and then we'll go out to dinner around 7:30. And you have a 1-year-old and I'm like, what do you say? We've been at the beach all day. I'm not going to 7:30. You know what I mean?
It's basically midnight.
So I just think everybody's expectations have to be like managed. And I don't know, I think just like going with the flow more, you got to just like lean into whatever your kids are feeling, what you want to do. Another thing, like when we now go, like this last time we went, we ate at home like 2 nights. Like we ordered pizza and then I think probably ate like leftover pizza or something, you know what I mean? But just like realizing that like you can't just always go. Like sometimes it's nice to just chill, like sit out on the porch, order a pizza and just, you can still have good memories. You don't have to be, in restaurants or whatever.
It's so funny you say that too, because when we were in Vegas and we had like our little kitchen, we ordered pizza, I think the first night we were there. And then we had it left over like 2 nights later. Justice has brought that pizza up like since we've been home. Like, Mom, remember that good pizza we had in Vegas? Like it went to her it was 5 stars,
Isn't it funny?
Yes, Oh, I had brought this just me being like whatever, the like mac and cheese cups that you can put in the microwave, They were Annie's, so
organic.
Nice try.
Okay.
Yes, But we brought those and those were kind of like I think they had that for dinner one night. Just I don't know. It just was like a comfort thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We were there. It was easy, whatever. So
they were like, muy bien, mommy.
yes, oh, mamacita. But I don't know. Just,
Did you
little
tell that
stuff.
other mom that gave you crap at the pool that you got the organic Annie's? I mean, because you
God,
should.
no. I don't even think you can buy that there. Like, she would have been like, "Wait, excuse me, ma'am? Like, you're what?"
Not only are my kids having cheddar fish for lunch, they will be going up to have cheddar pasta.
I think that was a different day and all, like, all seriousness.
And we're going to wash it down with cheese pizza, ladies.
Yeah.
Getting our dairy in.
Oh, man. Yeah, oh, yeah,
Well, this is
I do though,
fun.
on that food thing, I'm like, I do say on a trip with kids, I'm like, stop at a grocery store and re-up. Like, don't try to pack it all. Don't just stop and then buy like a bunch of fresh fruit. Cause I'm like, my kids do get weird if I'm pushing like 2-3 days of just like eat this non-perishable, like we're always on the go. I'm like, they got to get some like, even if it's like lunch meat turkey, I'm like, they just need some like real plain food. So we do make a habit of like typically just stopping at a grocery store and just reloading on like some stuff that we didn't want to fly on a plane with and have like,
well, of course. Yeah.
So
not me. I bring a cooler.
Bring it all. Goes. She stops at Costco right before, loads up.
Oh yeah, and get those shrimp.
Juliana travels with a Camelback filled with like margarita on her back. She's like,
oh my God. Say I won't. Next time I visit you, you pick me up.
That's what she's gonna have. Oh my goodness.
So I would like to propose as we come to the end of this episode.
Yeah.
Like or comment if you guys agree. Like we should have an episode that's on location of a cruise and we can document it for our followers.
Yeah.
And how fun would that be to do like a mom's review of some cruise?
Yeah.
And like day by day, day 1, day 2.
I will, obviously I'll watch it. I'm like, I'm deep into that cruise game on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
we got Juliana for sure.
Business trip.
Yeah.
Hilarious. All right. What are y'all nailing and failing?
Nailing and failing. Okay. My nailing, I got Venmo like
wow,
this week.
Welcome to the 21st century.
Welcome.
We're so glad to have you here.
Yeah. So it feels like, I'm like, oh my God, that's pretty cool. So
you should probably just send me $100 to make sure it works.
Same. I don't know. I'll send you a request because you can do requests on there. We can see if the request works. If it works, you just send it back over. Okay.
So I just feel like that's a nail.
You go, girl.
Nailed it. Yeah. So
what's your fail? That it took you 30 years to get on Venmo?
Yeah, that's part of it. Also, like I got a new phone. But I haven't like opened it yet. Like I've had it for almost a week and haven't. I'm just feeling weird because it doesn't have the button anymore.
Oh my God,
the button anymore.
They haven't had the button in 10 years.
Okay, well, my timeline might be different than yours. Okay.
So I just don't understand. Zone, but
like,
what?
Well, then
doing?
How do you do stuff? Like, I use that button. How do you go
just
home?
Swipe your thumb up.
Yeah, it's very intuitive. It is. I promise.
All right.
Turn your new phone on.
By next week, I'll probably do it. Yeah.
Which one did you get?
It's probably like a 16.
Honestly. Yeah, no, I couldn't. That would be a big jump. I could never.
That would be a big jump from 8 to 16.
Yes.
That's like half of them.
So I'll let you know.
Oh, I can't
how
wait
it goes
to hear.
Next week. But that's my fail, that it's just sitting there, and Luke is like, "What's going on with the phone?" Like, so
good.
So my nail and fail is all in the world
technology
of technology.
This week. Okay, yeah.
2005, but what about you guys? What are you nailing?
Okay, so I am working a new schedule with the kids, mainly because I since we've had the babies, y'all, like the workout thing has been real hard to come by for me. I started paying extra on my gym membership so they could go to the gym with me. But with them getting sick or teething or it's snowing or whatever, we just have had so many starts and stops that they still aren't 100% comfortable going to the gym.
Oh, I'm sure,
So I just finally bit the bullet this week and I was like, I got to work out before they wake up. That's just the bottom line of what has to happen. But in order for me to do that, I've got to go to bed earlier. And in order for me to go to bed earlier, everyone has to go to bed on their schedule. Like, we cannot slide the schedule at all.
So you're waking up in the
I'm waking up at
morning
5:30
to work.
so I can go to the gym and then be back before they all wake up and do all the things. So
You're
it's been
doing
pretty
that.
rough.
That's
I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
I'm gonna give it another week.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm nailing it because I have actually done it and like been committed
That's
to doing
amazing.
it. And
I wouldn't make it
yeah,
one
and
day.
like the schedule, it's so funny because I put all of the transitions in the evening on my phone so I can make sure they happen instead of being like, oh my God, it's bedtime now. So Justice called me out and was like, Mom, why do you have so many alarms on your phone? Because it's like 5 p.m. feed the twins. 5:15 Justice do homework. 6 p.m. bathe the twins. 6 p.m.
It's just
like
going
it's just
off.
going off
Yeah.
every 45
Yeah.
minutes in the evenings until everybody goes to sleep. But it's been working because I've been like, with Justice, like 8 p.m. brush teeth. We need to be moving along. It can't be 8:30 you're brushing your teeth when you're supposed to go to bed at 8:30.
That's so smart.
Yeah, this has to happen.
So I
it's
feel
happening.
that I'm at least nailing the schedule for now, even though I am struggling through it.
That's amazing.
And then fail. No, I think just the fact that I'm like struggling through it so hard, maybe, but I don't know. I just it feels like I'm failing, but I'm not. So it's like it's a fake fail because I'm doing the schedule. I will check in with you all in 2 weeks to let you know if I made it.
Listen, I want to just say the only thing you're failing is get them to the gym.
It's just such a
and I mean that
struggle.
so playfully though. But listen, you're setting your groundwork. You're crushing the nighttime. Nighttime is first, sleep is first. And then like don't kill yourself when they're working out in the morning because I'm like your next goal, like you just did goal number 1. Goal number 2 is like now that their nighttime is more settled, then work them into like the more, I don't know what it would look like, but drop Justice off at school and then straight to the gym, like build your stack. It's like habit stacking. So build your next alarm that's going to go off and say, and now we're going to the gym, and buy them a new toy or get them their favorite snack. Like just make them love the gym.
By the time
so
I
you
get
can
them
chill
both
in the morning
out of the car and into the gym, I have no motivation for the workout. So I'm then just like sludging through the workout because I'm like, oh Lord, like that was a workout to get them to the gym.
Yeah. What do you do? This is like, sorry, this is my new annoying personality, but I'm like, what workout are you doing?
Well, when I go to the gym now, no. When I go to the gym now, I'm doing like a weights class just because it's easier for me to get my weights in if someone is telling me do this many sets of this thing versus if I miss that class and I'm on my own, I'm kind of like, I'll do a little cardio. I could lift 3 weights. It's a very slack workout if I don't get it guided, but it's just damn near impossible to make it to the gym with them and get on time to the class. Like there's like a 6 a.m. class, like a 9, a 10:30, and maybe in 6
So
months.
I heard this expert on women's workout was talking about how like cardio is really stupid and like weightlifting at our age because we're going to start to like lose muscle and bone density and stuff. But it's changed my life because basically when you go to the gym, it's like you should never do more than like 6 to 8 reps. So like heavy weight, low reps, and just bounce from what like it's like so short and quick, but it's heavy. So you like get exhausted really quick and then you go to the next
gotta get on that Pilates game.
Oh my
God. You
gotta
do those little weights, reps, those lean muscles. I'm saying that's the expert I know has said. That's the expert I know. Anyways, what are you nailing, Lindsay?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Nothing? No, come on.
No,
you're not nailing this week.
No, work is kicking my butt. I'm like exhausted. I'm stretched too thin in several areas. I'm fine. I'm like, this is seasonal. This too shall pass. But I'm like, no, I'm just like failing work. The house is messy again. I feel like I'm the same like freaking broken record every week.
Oh yeah, I'm failing.
And then as you guys were talking, I'm like, what am I nailing? I'm like, I'm not nailing anything. Filthy. Yeah. The only thing I am nailing though is these little home weights because I've just changed the way I think of working out. Where I'm like,
Well, there you
I
go.
can
You're
do,
nailing
like,
something.
20 squats and be sore the next day. So I'm just like, workout. I just do like just enough to make me sore the next day. And I'm like, great.
Something
Mission
worked.
accomplished.
Something moved. Something.
Winning.
Yeah. Something. Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Well, until next time.
All right.
And maybe we'll get a vacation at some point. So make sure you're doing your working out.
Yeah.
Keep it, if you like our vibe, subscribe so you can catch us later on more live from location cruise.
Yeah, Carnival, if you're listening.